Hello, Star Wars Galaxy of Hero players. This is Untitled Sordo. Today I'm going to be talking about Saxon and how we can make him great. Or great again. Even though he wasn't really great when he came out, he was okay, mediocre. You see him in some raids here and there, but I feel like this character could be very, very useful if they add a certain faction and so on and so forth. So let's talk about him first really quick. He is like literally the Imperial counter leader. He gives him 50 counter chance and 40 defense. That's the same as Commander Luke Skywalker. That's cool. That's cool. I feel like, yes, adding a few more stats here and there, like tenacity, offense, health steal, change the recovery from the 5% health to 5% protection. I think that would be game changing right there. Also, adding offense would be helpful. So, maybe like 35% health steal and 30% offense, and then changes recovery to protection. Be cool. But really, this is where I want to talk about him more. We recently had an awesome character come into the game, and that is Candor Sordo. Candor Sordo is a Mandalorian, so is Saxon. Even though he's a traitor Mandalorian, but in this game, he could bring about the release and introduction to the Mandalorian faction. How cool would that be? How cool would it be to see Candor Sordo be part of a faction that a lot of fans have been wanting? Yes, I know, at least a lot of players have been wanting this faction. I know there's a lot of people that want Darth Revan, etc., etc. Certain individual characters here and there, but Mandalorians, they're just as big as Jedi and Sith, Empire and Rebels. For this game, they can be that big. And having a year, hopefully this next year we get the introduction to them. We really need this Mandalorian faction. And to start off with, we've got 6 in-game. I'm going off by the fact that, yes, this squad management system is so annoying. We need it on a main setup. Anyways, you're on the main screen. That little circle that used to be achievements, they got rid of it right there. Squad management. Select the button there and we go into this. But anyways, going on, we have 6 characters if you can see here. 5 of them have a multi-attack base in their basic. If they're debuffed, Jango Fett attacks again, Boba Fett. Like, let's go over to Sabine really quick. Her basic deals damage to target twice. This attack scores an additional hit for each of the following. If they have less than 70% turn meter, 30%, 70%, and 30%, and the target is debuffed. So there's another debuff effect. So, and of course, in Candace's kit, we also see, and once he's maxed out, the enemy had protections, attacks for a second time, attacks the second time, and if the enemy had protection, attacks a third time. So that's telling you something. That's telling you a great Mandalorian counter chance team. Oh my goodness. I like this. So there are all these Mandalorians. The only one that doesn't really do much is Imperial Super Commando. Other than he does counter chance more often than not. So just imagine, Darth Sion starts the battle, AoE, cleanses everything. Oh, what was that? It cleansed everything, AoE. His ability can be countered. So, let's just say, oh, God, so not used to that. I look away from the screen and Candace is sitting down playing with his gun. But they all counterattack back. And just pretend, Sabine's in this spot, and they get the maximum amount of counter chances. So Saxon counters once. That's one. Again, pretend Sabine's in this spot. Just to make it realistic. Phoenix, drop you, add you. Here we go. So Sabine gets a chance to attack 3 times. But then Saxon will assist those 3 times as well. Then you got Boba Fett twice. Saxon twice. Jango Fett twice. Saxon twice. Candace 3 times. Saxon 3 times. You know how, you can see where I'm going. The chaining counterattacks. How cool would that be to see that be pulled off in Arena? Yes, Vader, against Vader, that won't work. Against Nihilus, oh, that'll work beautifully. Boom, 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 boom. And you know how much more damage he does, Candor's does to protection-based units. You know, Scion may AoE and be gone like that. May or may not. It has to be tested, but then again, it can't be tested because Mandalorian tag is non-existent. If they were existent, this would be such a cool team to run. The AoE, and then they just counter like crazy. AoE, counter like crazy. Come on, game developers, CG, whatever you call yourselves. Come on, let's get Mandalorians in. At least add the tag, give Saxon the leadership, make him useful. He hasn't really been useful. Imperial Super Commando has here and there. Boba and Jango, obviously, for their bounty hunter reasons. We have yet to see, once the developers actually give back the test accounts to the Game Changers, we're going to see Candor be used on a various amount of teams, tested and everything. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when that effect, but we'll see if we actually get Mandalorians. But we'll get to see what teams Candor works on. Yes, he can work under a Darth Vader lead. That makes sense. He also can work under an IG-88 lead. Makes sense. One thing I will say, and I know I've talked about it in previous videos, I kept saying Candor Sordo was a bounty hunter during his time, but at the same time I really look at it, he was just a mercenary for hire. So it makes sense he's a scoundrel. I feel like Candor should be one of the ones that can count towards bounty hunter payouts. Yes, he doesn't give himself a payout, but if he's under a bounty hunter led team, he should be able to at least get the bounty hunter leader's payout, because he kind of worked as a mercenary and hire. So I feel like that would be kind of cool to add to his kit. But that would be a down the road thing. Yes, right now he's a scoundrel, he's great as is, but just imagine that. Yes, in his unique, he gains the leadership payouts from bounty hunters, as well as can assist towards taking them down. Just imagine that. Boss calls an assist. You got Candor Sordo's basic hitting 3 times towards Bosk's leadership, or towards Jango, or whatever, the leadership may be, helping speed up that team. How cool would that be? I think that'd be awesome, especially since under a Boba Fett lead, or just under, any bounty hunter team with Boba Fett, yeah, we could see that. Yes, I know this video is talking about how to make Saxon great again, but I still feel like Candor Sordo should get that little bit bonus. But going back to it though, Saxon being a leader of the Mandalorians, yes, he'd, support with Empire as well, but being able to just all those assists, yes, I know all those assists would also give, if they did what they did with the leader, gave the health steal. Hold on, let's go to the proper one. Oh man, I was supposed to hold it in. There we go. Changing, giving some health steal, and changing the recovery of health to protection, they would make the Mandalorians more durable. They are incredible fighters. They can take on Jedi. Like Jango Fett, at least in Legends, has been made to pick up a rock and take on Jedi. That's insane, That's insane. That tells you Mandalorians are trained properly on how to take out Jedi. Yes, a lot of the times they do lose their battles, or they lose the wars they're in, but they win a ton of battles. They take out a ton of Jedi, but they just lose the war in the end all the time. But hey, they are still an amazing faction to see. We got some Mandalorian setups here. Let's go in. Let's see. I think Boba Fett has the little, the Mandalorian logo right there, and Bounty Hunters Resolve. So it makes sense. Of course, a lot of bounty hunters do pick up this symbol as well. But mostly what we've known has been Mandalorians. Look at that. Has the little logo. How cool is that? And then, of course, Saxon has it in his, has the name in his leadership. And then we got Candace, which they gave him, I will say, I want to say another correction on Candace. They should have the Mandalorian veteran be the Mandalorian Crusader logo, not the regular Mandalorian logo, but this still works. It still works. I like this. So, but other than that, let me know what you guys think in the comments below about Candor Sordo being on a Mandalorian team under Saxon. Especially since Candor's would be popping and allowing Django to assist, allowing Sabine to assist some more. That's just a lot of assists going on. Tons and tons of assists from a counterattack. That is huge. That is huge. Just imagine if Saxon's leader, instead of like offense, maybe had counter damage. 35% health steal, 30% counter damage, and then the, recovery of protection. I think that would be game changing right there. Right there. That would change. And of course, yes, this means you could also, on the Mandalorian team, run Thrawn. Because why not? You can run Vader or Palpatine. Just all those counterattacks with some shock spreading around. And then all Palpatine has to do is AoE and stun them all. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Saxon. It'd be a great way to make him more viable. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you agree with this? Do you disagree with this? And again, thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.